Welcome to the Roznama, our daily newspaper analysis. And today is the 2nd of March. And again, since yesterday, we've been covering the concerted attack of the US and Israel on Iran. So today's newspaper is also full of that. In yesterday's newspaper, because the news of the death of the Ayatollah was received midday, that is why it was not published. So today the newspaper is mostly centered around the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and whatever legacy that he has left behind in Iran. Okay, just to get a basic understanding into Ayatollah and his rule, do read certain articles so that you get a basic idea of the entire political structure of Iran. Because whenever you look into your Clat exam, there is one concerted question that is given at least on international relations. And whenever you cover some other country, they do tend to ask you certain geopolitical aspects of that respective country. Okay. So keeping that in mind, do go through these articles. Okay. So yesterday, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he was killed in an airstrike where a missile was dropped on the office where he was sitting with his top advisors. So it was not only Ayatollah Ali Khamenei who passed away, but along with him, certain members of his family, his daughter, his son-in-law, his granddaughter, and other top members also were bombarded in that particular bombing. Okay. And then naturally, when you are going to undertake the killing of some nation's top leader, the nation is going to retaliate, and the nation did retaliate by hitting major countries, specifically not to hurt those countries, but to destroy the US bases in these respective countries. So Iran in total has actually undertaken counter strikes on 6 neighboring countries, not to target the civilians of these countries, but to target the US military bases from where US is targeting Iran. Okay, so do go through these articles. Iranian authorities say over 200 people have been killed since the start of US-Israeli strikes. All right, now what is actually sad about this is that last year in June 2025, a 12-day war took place between Iran and Israel, combined armies of Israel and USA. Okay, so you have to keep a track since last year only. They'll just give you certain information which is important with respect to the 12-day war and the operations that took place during this particular war. Okay, so like for example, this year in this new war, US and Israel, they've launched Operation Black Fury, Epic Fury, and Operation Epic Fury is the same operation that Israel has renamed as Roaring Lion. Okay, so the name of the operation is one single operation. US is calling it Epic Fury and Israel is calling it Roaring Lion. Now, Roaring Lion is similar to last year's operation. So last year, when these military attacks did take place, US had launched Operation Midnight Hammer. Okay, Operation Midnight Hammer. Israel had launched Operation Rising Lion. Okay, it was Operation Rising Lion. This year's operation is Operation Roaring Lion. Okay, do keep all these names in mind. We have also given all of this in the GK top 5 news that we upload on the Roznama. So make sure that you go back to the Roznama, specifically to the GK top 5 news pieces, and make sure that you take down notes of such important pointers. Okay, so last year this war took place. Why did this war take place was simply because US was specifically against Iran's nuclear ambition. Okay, against nuclear ambition, meaning that USA did not wish that Iran should undertake uranium enrichment. To curb Iran's nuclear ambitions, US also inflicted one program on Iran in 2015, which was known as JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Under this, Iran had significantly agreed to lower its uranium enrichment. And since always, Iran has always pledged things like Iran is undertaking this uranium enrichment or nuclear enrichment only to support its energy requirements, to harness nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, and never has Iran said that Iran is harnessing nuclear energy to make nuclear armaments or bombs. Now, Iran makes this statement, and this statement is also backed by an organization which is known as International Atomic Energy Agency. It is this particular organization which was established in the year 1957, which seeks to keep a tab on each and every country's nuclear facility. Every country has to register its nuclear facility with this organization, and this organization submits reports to the United Nations Security Council as to giving them updates on each and every country's nuclear deployments or enrichment. And this agency has never said that Iran is actually undertaking uranium enrichment to make nuclear weapons. This agency has always said this, that Iran is undertaking nuclear enrichment only for peaceful purposes and not for warring purposes. All right. But US unhappy with Iran. Why is US unhappy with Iran? Do remember that in 1954, Iran was under the monarchy of Shah Pahlavi. And in 1954, US and Iran had very good relations. The two countries had signed an agreement known as the Consortium Agreement. As per the Consortium Agreement, US had actually fooled the Iranian monarchy into believing that, or basically giving US permission that US can exploit the oil reserves in Iran and sell off that oil of Iran to other countries, take the money, and out of that entire money, one chunk of royalty fee will be paid to the monarchy in Iran. Naturally, US was looting Iran of its resources, that US does everywhere. So this 1954 agreement made US happy because everything was in line with the United States of America. Certain sections of the people in Iran came to this realization that US is actually fooling the people of Iran. And in 1979, a regime change took place to the Iranian Revolution, where the monarch was exiled, banished from the country, the monarchy was abolished, and the rule was vested in a diachial power. Diachial power, that the rule was vested in one leader known as the Ayatollah in Iran, and along with him, there was also a presidential government that was installed in Iran. Okay. So now Iran had a republican form of government since 1979, and Iran since 1979 started taking strategically autonomous decisions to bring about welfare of its own countries, naturally moving away from the aims, agendas, ideologies, policies, programs, and selfish motives of the United States of America. So America has always been this way, that if anything goes against the ideas, whims, and fancies of the United States of America, it naturally goes against that respective country which is undertaking such a policy program, etc. So in totality, if you are against the United States of America, you no longer have political sovereignty. You no longer can make independent policies, programs for your own country's benefits. You can only make policies, programs, etc. so long it satisfies the aims, agendas of the United States of America. And that is exactly what has happened in Iran. Now, the ruler has been killed, and there is major hocus pocus in Iran, where they are now trying to decide that what is to be done now as per the entire governmental system in Iran. One more thing that I want to flag for you all is that when this war took place, then Iran and the United States of America, along with Israel, were on the negotiating table, and they were negotiating to curb Iran's nuclear enrichment program, which Iran was also agreeing to do. Okay. Then right now also, amidst this particular war, for the past 15-20 days in the newspaper analysis every day, I've been pitching in all these ideas that Iran and USA are on the negotiating table, Iran and USA are on the negotiating table. These negotiations currently were being brokered by Oman. And amidst the negotiation, where Iran was absolutely ready to negotiate with the United States of America, US and Israel undertook this attack again. Okay, so this is what the entire backstory of the war is, entire backstory of the tension is. This is everything that you have to keep in mind with respect to your exam. Okay, so this article again moves forward how different countries have also, given their views as to this particular war. And Ayatollah has been murdered, assassinated by the United States and Israel. All right. So do keep an eye out for these articles. Again, the same article on this. Now, in this article of the Indian Express, this particular section gives you a basic idea as to all the political programs, initiatives that Ayatollah Khamenei had undertaken to make Iran the present Iranian structure, to make Iran how Iran is today, and to actually build up the present Iranian structure. All right. So this basically gives you an idea as to how, when the Iranian revolution took place in 1979, we had the first Ayatollah in Iran. His name was Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Okay, he was Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini actually. And then during his regime only, he appointed Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in 1981 as the president of Iran. Okay, so in 1981, he was appointed as the president of Iran. Then Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, he passed away in 1989. And since 1989, Ali Khamenei was the leader or head of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, then naturally during his entire tenure of more than 35 years, he had undertaken various steps, initiatives to bring about development in Iran, to increase the power of Iran. So you can go through this article, get an idea about everything that he has done for his country. Then in India, as of now, our government has not issued any statement for Iran. The Indian government has issued statements saying that the attacks on neighboring countries like Saudi Arabia, on Dubai, etc., is not, should not be undertaken, and India stands strongly with these countries and everything. But no such statement has been given against Iran. So we have different parties in the country, like the IM, which is the Muslim Party of India. Then we have Shiv Sena. We also have CPI parties, which have given their opinions, saying that the killing of Khomeini is absolutely unlawful and it should not be undertaken. Unlawful it is because Iran is a sovereign country. No other country has the right to dictate terms to any other country as to their own vested interests. All right. So for that same reason, naturally the killing is very, very unlawful and must be undertaken. Then the Chief Justice of India has basically said that the judiciary must build public trust against amongst themselves, because just a few days back we had this entire NCERT article where there was this major problem with the judiciary. In a class 8 textbook, the NCERT had written things about that the judiciary is corrupt in India. There is massive pendency of cases amongst the judiciary, where the judiciary felt that, such things must not be undertaken, must not be taught to children at such a young age that the children might, become opinionated against a government office in the country. Naturally, one major problem with the judiciary in India is that there is massive pendency of cases, and there is absolutely no such thing in India like speedy trials. So the people who are not in class 8, people who've grown up, they do have certain trust issues with the judiciary. So that is why the Chief Justice of India is calling for the judiciary to undertake such effective steps to build public trust in the judiciary. Okay. Then coming to the editorials for today, the first one that I've taken up is on the 16th Finance Commission. I've been discussing this for quite some time now. So just go through this to have a basic understanding of it. Keep certain pointers in mind. The article just says that it is Article 280 that calls for the constitution of Finance Commission, and then we have Article 270 and 275, which talk about that it is the duty of the central government to undertake devolution of funds from the central government to the from the central government's pool of cesses, pool of taxes, to the state governments for their development and upkeep. Okay, so the article basically says that how this 16th Finance Commission also continued with the 41% devolution that was proposed by the 15th Finance Commission, and has not increased any amount of or percentage of money devolved to the state governments. Then the article says that what were the various considerations that were kept in mind when making a decision on the 41% devolution from the center's fund of taxes to the state government, and how which are the states who are facing a loss because of this, and which states face basically are gaining from this. Okay, then again a wonderful article on how US, through all these things that US is doing, like taking over Venezuela, now this entire attack on Iran, and unilaterally doing these things, and then also his entire speeches, various speeches on taking over Greenland, is actually drawing major attention to an imperial war, that they're bringing back imperialism, they're bringing back colonialism, where Article 2.4 of the United Nations is no longer being given any recognition, that no country as of now, so long you don't align your political aims, agendas with the United States of America, you absolutely have zero territorial integrity and sovereignty. Then this article is on, it is actually a very critical article on the judiciary, that how the judiciary was so ardent and very quick to take a decision on the use of corruption term in judiciary, in with respect to the judiciary in the NCERT books. And not only did they actually point fingers at the NCERT to include such a derogatory term against the judiciary, but they also got it scrapped. The NCERT issued an apology. The NCERT called back all the books that were in circulation and apologized for making such a blunder. Here, the judiciary was very quick to act, but because of political upheavals in the country, when we did see instances like there was too much of fundamentalism that was being spread in the country, no doubt the books have not aisa nahi hai that the books have remained the same since always. Recently, we did see a lot of revisions in the NCERT, specifically in the history books, where they did show things like, depict things like the Mughal rulers were absolute oppressors, and how the Hindu rulers were, trying to keep a hold on to their empires, etc., but they couldn't hold on to their empires, and they've shown a lot of communities belonging to different religious communities as outsiders, etc. So it was not, and all these things, they only fuel fundamentalism in the country. They only fuel separatism in the country. They do not promote ideas of fraternity and humanity and humanism. But when such, and fraternity is a very important part of the constitution. It forms the basic structure of the constitution. The judiciary did not intervene, did not step in to remove such things from the books. Such things were, as per the judiciary, not maligning the young minds, but calling the judiciary corrupt is maligning the young mind. So naturally, very, very ironical. Do go through it. Then the next article is on the UCG. Just wanted to flag it again so that you don't forget about the new guidelines of the University Grants Commission. There were major protests by the general caste people, general caste students, that the provisions of the new guidelines are very, very vague in nature, that they've not actually very clearly, they've not defined that what could amount to discrimination. So they believe that because there is so much of vagueness, it could maybe incorrectly catch hold of somebody who is actually not intentionally discriminating against any person based on gender, religion, or caste. So they protested against it, and the Supreme Court put a stay on its implementation. Okay, so do go through it. get a better idea. Then this article talks about missile interception systems. Missile interception systems are basically systems like THAAD, systems like Iron Dome, that various countries they use it. They work on the principle of a radar giving out a lot of waves and everything, and these waves they trap missiles that are obviously being launched into your respective country from an enemy country. Not only do they intercept them, sometimes they neutralize them, that the missiles they don't eventually burst or they don't hurt the people. Sometimes they launch an opposing missile to destroy that missile on air. So missile interception systems, what are they? What are their basic uses? How different countries make use of them? And what were the missile interception systems that Iran used, that Israel is using, and that US is using? So this gives you a basic idea of that. You can go through it. Again, an article on what the future holds for Iran now, and who is to now undertake control of the entire regime. However, the article talks about the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps was created by the Ayatollah and is considered to be a very, very loyal force to the supreme leader. They are responsible personally and very, very importantly for the protection of the supreme leader. So as of now, till we get a new leader appointed, there are still talks that who would be the new one. Yesterday they did give a tentative name, but as of now, tentatively they are going to appoint somebody, but then eventually when there's a little calm in the entire war scenario, then the committee is going to sit and the committee is going to then further decide as to who is to be the new Ayatollah of Iran. But till then, they are still saying that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps can be that one particular authority which can bring in control in Iran. Okay. All right, again an article on the same, you can go through it. This particular article draws our attention to the northeast region of India. So recently there were instances where a particular boy from Uttarakhand, because of he was hurled racial slurs at, and then eventually he was killed. He was thrashed and then he was killed. He lost his life. And then that was not the first instance. We do have a lot of instances where people of the northeastern India and the hilly regions, they are being discriminated against. They've been hurled racial slurs at, which naturally is not nice, which is not good, and which must never, never be undertaken in the country. They are all Indians. Just because they look different does not make them somebody from the outside country or somebody from the neighboring country. So beyond everything else, humanism should be one thing that should lead everybody in the country. No racism, no religion, nothing. Everything, every religion, every god just preaches humanism. So this article basically says that recently, after that particular incident of Uttarakhand, the Chief Minister of Delhi, she had issued a statement that Delhi has no place for racism, for differences, for fundamentalism, etc. And concerted steps must be taken, at least in the younger population, to change this mindset. Okay. Then the article or the author basically says that although we have a concerted ministry to look after the development of the northeast region, which is known as DONER, or Ministry of Development of Northeastern India, he's also moved on to suggest that we must, use DONER as owner, that is our wonderful northeast region, for bringing about development. And then he is given various reasons as to how, various ways as to how development of the northeastern region can be undertaken in the country. Okay. Then Strait of Hormuz, this particular point here, which connects the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf, and forms a very critical point because it is surrounded by all those countries which are oil-rich countries, and it is here that through this particular point that oil is exported to different countries in the world. One of that country is India. So as of now, the Strait of Hormuz has around 8 islands, 7 of which are controlled by Iran. Now, Iran has been struck at. Iran is in a state of mourning. So as of now, Iran has not has not stopped movement in the Strait of Hormuz, but there can be chances in the near future that the Strait of Hormuz might be put under restraint. All right. So this particular article just seeks to draw our attention to the fact that how if this Strait of Hormuz, which acts like a critical choke point, if in case it is actually, if it is actually blocked, then what are the after effects that India could face? So the article just says that as of now, India is covered because India already has a buffer supply of the next 10 days. And then they are hoping that after 10 days, the situation here would be back to normal or at least normalized a little. And also suggests alternatives that India should not be dependent here now because we have a 10-day buffer. We must use this particular time to, we must use this particular time to strike oil import trade deals, etc., with other countries as well, like Latin America, Russia, Africa, etc. Okay. Then coming to the news in short and terminologies, just wanted to flag that the GST collection increases by 8.1%. So the GST collection in February was over 1.83 lakh crores. All right, just keep that in mind. And the president in Delhi has, it is a regional news, but I've still flagged it for you. The president is set to launch Pink Card for women. What is this Pink Card? Pink Card is a National Common Mobility Card through which women in the NCR region will be able to travel through various public transports from one place to another. And also under a scheme which is Nari Shakti Samriddh Delhi or Samriddh Delhi. Under this particular program also, the Prime Minister has said that the women who belong to below poverty line and have a ration card, they will be given at least 2 free cylinders every year on the 2 major festivals of Holi and Diwali. Okay. Okay, then I just want, not, the article is not that important. Just wanted to flag MP Lads for your MP Lads. So I've taken this up one day, I think some time back, but do keep in mind MP Lads is a scheme of the central government known as Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme, launched in 1993. And under this scheme, every MP, every member of the parliament is given, previously they were given around 1 crore of rupees. Now they are given 5 crores of rupees every year. So for 5-year term, they get around 25 crores of rupees. And they have to use this money to bring about development, infrastructure development in their respective constituencies. All right. So the news basically says that UP has received maximum funds under MP Tax. Okay. Then again, the article not so important. Just wanted to flag for all the National Coconut Board that was established, and also this year in the budget, the budget has proposed the coconut promotion scheme. And this particular scheme was actually the only part in the budget where Kerala was mentioned. Okay, so Kerala had made a fuss over this also, that Kerala was nowhere mentioned in any of the budget speech and anything. And this was the first time that Kerala is being mentioned. So the coconut promotion scheme, through this, the government seeks to expand its coconut production because India apparently is the world's largest producer and consumer of coconuts. The 2 facts, just keep in mind: the Coconut Board, National Coconut Production Scheme, Coconut Promotion Scheme, sorry, proposed in the budget this year, and India is the largest consumer and producer of coconuts. Okay, the state naturally is Kerala. All right, so that was all for today's newspaper analysis, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next one. Thank you.